They try to ask you a question that you never met in your life. So when you see such question, don't panic, calm down. Use these 3 or 4 steps I'm giving to you now. One of them must surely work out. Multiplication or division factor. Another way is trying the question with the options given. Like if you are faced with balance elimination method. Elimination method in the sense that it's true you don't know this question. This is a cheat that will give you an extraordinary quality so that you can score higher. It's not about studying and then what is called science language. There's what we call science language. There's a way science works. Okay, science. Okay, hello, this is Her Majesty Easy World Science Channel, the easy world of science. Today I'm going to help you score more than 340 in your screening examination, and this time around I'm going to give you a special cheat that will help you answer almost all the questions that you will meet. Remember, as far as you are a human being, there is no way you will know everything, but this video is here to direct and guide you to help you get the answers to the questions that you have not met before. So how will you do that? First, I will teach you how to get some answers without calculators. It will save you time and reduce your frustration. Some of the post-UTME exams in Nigeria don't encourage the use of calculators. So here, I'll give you the cheat on how to do some simple calculation in this our post-UTME without calculator. You need to use your discretion, of course. First, I have to teach you what we call multiplication or division factor. The multiplication or division factor. Let's take, for example, you meet in the examination, even if it is in chemistry, mathematics, or physics, where the question is, if 250 will give, let's say 5, then what will 1000 give? You must not waste time cross multiplying, because you now have to see the multiplication factor that 250 was multiplied 4 times for you to get 1000. So 250 times 4 is 1000, which means this place that you called x must be 5 times 4. So if 250 gave you 5, 1000 will automatically give you nothing but 5 times 4, which is 20. At least you have saved your time in that aspect. Then there is another method here. If you can also use this have shown multiplication factor, it means that whatever is done in the left hand side should also be done in the right hand side. These are our right hand side, these are left hand side. So you can see that 250 was increased to 1000, which means 5 have to increase by 4 times also. So division factor also holds that if, for instance, they have that 10 gave you 2, what will 0.1 give you? This time around, if you divide, check the division factor here. Okay, let's just say that here is now 2. Okay, 2 will give you what? It shows that when you divide 10 by 2, it will automatically give you 5. So which means 10 was divided by 2, which means the answer will also be 2 divided by 5. And when you say 2 divided by 5, you know that it's going to give you the answer in 0 point. So if you look at the options and there is no 0 point except one option, you go straight and answer it. No need of wasting your time. Then another cheat here is there is what we call, apart from division factor, for you to understand this thing well, you need to watch my video known as shortcuts in chemistry calculations and so on and so forth. So with this division and multiplication factor, you use your discretion, you dare not waste your time again. Then if you are solving in an examination, maybe you met where they say 600 divided by 4. This answer is not going to be too straightforward, and you must not use calculator. So what do? You're supposed to know that 600 divided by 4 will not give you up to 200, but will give you more than 100. This is what we call using discretion. So when you think about this now, you know that 600 when it's divided by 4 will not give you up to 200 each, and will not give you something less than 100. So if you look at the options, if you find out that maybe other options have something that is up to 200 except one option. You now choose that option because automatically 600 divided by 4 can never be up to 200 except that one option. So that's another thing. Let's use this and solve some questions. So we go to, I say the photos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will be here yet. Okay, let's use this question 42 as an example in chemistry. You say the question is, what is the molar mass of a substance if 0.4 moles of the substance has a mass of 25.0 grams? So the molar mass is actually what they are looking for. Now, using what I just told us now, let's go back to the notes and remember the question where we are working with 0.4 moles of the substance. If the 0.4 mole represents 25, let's now see what 1 mole will ever represent. Because remember that molar mass is actually the mass of 1 mole of any substance. So by the question now, they say that 0.4. Let me just try solving this even without writing down something. Just listen up and look at that question. What is the molar mass of a substance if 0.4 mole of the substance has a mass of 25.0 gram? Then you do your normal this. So if 0.4 weighs 25, what will 1 weigh? So you find out that it's going to be 0.4 moles. You have to time, if you say 0.4 times 2, you get 0.8. And again, that which means now 0.8, if you say times 4, it will now be it will be 1.2, I think so, yes. So it is automatically going to be that 0.4 times 2 is going to give you 0.8, which means 0.4 times 2.5 will give you 1. So the multiplication factor here is 2.5. So which is automatically meaning that you have to multiply this 25 by 2.5. And when you look at the option, 25 times 2 is 50, then half of 25 is about 14.5. So if you look around there, our answer will not be less than 50. And then when you look at the option A says 6.3, so you don't consider that one. Option B says 62.5. Option C says 2.5. Option D says 40.0 gram. Based on the multiplication factor I told you that 0.4 mole gave you 25 gram. Then whatever 1 mole will give you is the molar mass now. So molar mass of any substance is the mass of 1 mole. Then how many times should you multiply 0.4 to give you 1? This should be 2.5 times. From my discretion, you know that 0.4 times 2 is 0.8. Therefore, half of it again will give you 0.2. Therefore, it's going to be 2.5 times. Then you multiply 25 into 2.5 times. Looking at the option, the answer is B, even without solving. By the idea of multiplication factor and division factor, you see that the answer is exactly 62.5. This is what we call, you use your discretion to check the options. I have not used my calculator, but having noted the fact that the answer cannot be less than 50, and I'm now lucky that it's only one option. The only one option there, as you can see, option B, is what is more than 50. A, C, and D are all below 50, so the answer is automatically B. So this is a way to save time. Okay, let's go back and solve normal to make you understand this question well. Okay, so here, from the question, given that 0.4 moles weighs 25. So whatever 1 mole we weigh is the molar mass. So in that aspect, we have 25 over 0.4 times 1. And 25 over 0.4, if you don't want to use calculator, should actually be 25 over 4 over 10. so that we have 25 over 4 times 10 over 1. So in that aspect, we have 4 here, we have 2, this is 5. So we now have 25 by 5 is actually 100. Okay. No. 25 by 5 is 125, not 100. It's 125 and divide by 2. So when you say 125 divided by 2, here 2 divided 12 is 6. Then 2 dividing, let's say 5 is
2.5.
That's 2.5, of course. Yes, 2 dividing 5 is 2.5. So that our answer is 62.5. Exactly. You see what I did now? Dividing separately, and we have arrived at the answer previously. So let's take a look at another question. So here we will see another one here. Question 48. Let's check the year actually. Okay, maybe the year didn't come out. Was it the page? Okay, yeah. Question 48. You see the stoichiometry. In the reaction above, the mass of carbon 4 oxide produced on burning 78 grams of ethane is. So now, the simple thing is that you look at the mole ratio. From the mole ratio, you have 2:5:4:2. Then the question is relating what and what. They say the mass of carbon 4 oxide, that's this and this. So we are using ethane and CO2 because given the substance given was ethane. The one we are calculating for is CO2. Therefore, we are using 2 moles of C2H2. Is this clear in the camera? Okay, 2 moles of C2H2 will give you 4 moles of CO2. Then, watch out well. You find out the molar mass of ethane. Without wasting time, carbon is 12. 12 times 2 is 24 plus 2. We have 26. So 26 is the molar mass of this. Then, watch the number given, 78. It shows that, do you remember this multiplication factor of 18? You use your discretion to know that 26 times 3 is 78. So it shows that we are working in the multiples of 3. So in that case, it shows that 1 mole of this thing now, watch it, it shows that 46 now, because, sorry, 52, we are talking about 26 times 2, we have 50 what? I'm just teaching you how you can get the answer. Even without wasting time, I'm looking at it that it's going to be something close to 264. So you watch it well. In that case, if 52, if I'm right, will give you this mass, which is okay. They said in the mass. Okay, the mass of this is 44, of course. 44 times 2 is 88 times another 2. Okay, let's lessen this. 1:2. Since 2:4, it means 1:2, which means 26 will give us 88. Exactly. 26 will give us 88. That's 2 times CO2. Molar mass of CO2 is 44. So we have 26 giving us 88. Then if 26 gave you 88, this one 78 represents multiplying this by 3. So it's going to give you 88. 88 times 3 self, not, yes, it's going to give you 88 times 3 because we moved from here to here. So in that aspect, our time is off. Okay. Okay, let's just go back to the board and solve. We have that 2:4 according to this equation. Okay, we solve here now. So we have 2C2H2 plus O2 to give you CO2 plus H2O. Our interest is only here and here, and therefore they are asking us from the question. They said that 78 grams of this given, 78 grams of this was given. That's ethyne, asking us for this. Then you go straight forward. The molar mass of ethyne is 26. 2 times 26 will give you, instead of working with higher number, you better will reduce at lower number. Since 2 is to 4, it means 1 is to 2. So we have 26 is to, molar mass of CO2 is 44. You should know that 44 times 2 is 88. So 26 will give you 88 grams. Then 78 will give you X. It comes down to that multiplication factor I taught you earlier. Watch this. 26, when you multiply it by 3, it will automatically give you 78. It means that X will be 88 times 3 because our multiplication factor in this case is 3. So X is simply 88 times 3. So what we have there, 3 times 8 is 24. We carry 2, 3 times 8 again is 24 plus 2. So we have our 264 grams as our answer, as I told you earlier. So with this discretion, you then not waste time. If you are told not to use your calculator, because when you now say 88 over 26 times this, it may waste you time. But using the multiplication factor, you can answer some questions, most of the questions without hesitation. You see, when I read that question, I know that the answer is rhyming to that 264. So let's see another question and we go to another cheat. Please, to understand this short course, watch my video, short course in chemistry for your post-UTME and equally for your JAMB. So let's see this 44. You can easily answer this one without even wasting time using the multiplication factor or the division factor. The volume of 2.5 moles of oxygen at STP is what? It's a very simple thing. 2.5 moles. Remember, the molar volume of a gas it is given in that case is 22.4. It means that 1 mole of oxygen will give you 22.4. So this was multiplied by 2.5. You also multiply this by 2.5. If you multiply this by 2.5, it will automatically give you 56 because watching the options, you found out that there is no option that is close to 22.4. 22.4 times 2 is 44.8. And we don't have it here. Then half of 22.4 is 11.2. So 44.8 plus 11.2 will give you automatically 56.0 dm cube. So the answer is B, even without wasting time, because 1 mole of any gas will give you 22.4. Therefore, if you increase 1 to 2.5, it means that your multiplication factor is 2.5. You also multiply the corresponding volume by 2.5. So even if you don't understand it, let's go back to the solving notes so that you get what I'm saying. So in this case, according to Avogadro, 1 mole of any gas at STP will occupy a volume of 22.4 dm cube, irrespective of the gas, whether it is oxygen, hydrogen, whatever gas is going to give you that. It means that 1 will give you 22.4. Therefore, 2.5 will give you X. Don't waste much of your time. You now ask yourself, what was 1 multiplied into to give you 2.5? It means that 1 was multiplied by 2.5 because 2.5 times 1 is exactly 2.5. Then it shows that here X is nothing but 22.4 dm cube times 2.5. Then to multiply points, this is half. Remember, 0.5 means 0.5. This 0.5. Just neglect it and multiply this. So what we have, 22.4 times 2 will give you 44.8. Then this half means get the half of this number. Half of 22 is 11. Half of 4 is 2. So what we have, you add it again to half of 22.4, which is 11.2. And by so doing, you have exactly 56.0 dm cube. So with this idea, you can solve some questions and you don't waste your time. You come out immediately from the hall. And now, to advise you, please, any question you see in the examination hall, especially during this screening, don't tell yourself you don't know it, because the implication means that you are going to fail it. When you fail such question, what does it mean? It means you are coming back next year or next section. So any question you see, you package yourself. You remember this cheat I'm giving you. You must follow it in the order I'm teaching you now. You come down to find a way to answer that. So I am done with the multiplication factor and division factor. Another way is trying the question with the options given. Like if you are faced with balancing chemical equations in an exam, never you go balancing it. Just go straight forward. Try those numbers that was given to you in the equation already. Let's just see an example. I know balancing of equation may be a difficult task for some students, but don't waste your time balancing equation. Question 4, see what I mean there? That is trying the options with the question, you know which one is correct. They say what's the value of P, and the value of P and value of X. So it is quite simple. You don't need to waste your time here trying to balance the equation. It is already established. This is H, and watch here, this is 4H2O. It means that we are working towards 8. Hydrogen must be 8. Anything less than 8 can never balance this equation. And the only option that have P as 8 is A. So the answer is A. No need of even trying again, because when you go and calculate well is when you have other option having 8. But it's obvious that this is 4 times 2. So hydrogen must be 8. So doing shows that the answer is A without wasting time. So this is idea of testing the that's trying the question with the options and know the one that will suit in well. Anyone that suits well, you choose it as an answer. Then another strategy I'm going to give to you now is elimination method. Elimination method in the sense that it's true you don't know this question, fine, but you can't afford to fail it. But when you look at the options, option A, B, C, D, or option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no matter, I don't know the options it may be, you watch them very well, you use elimination method. Maybe you know what option A is saying, and it doesn't rhyme to the question. And you know what B is saying, it doesn't rhyme to the question. You don't know C, you have not come across C while studying. Then you know D, it doesn't rhyme to the question. It means that the answer is C. Since you are sure that A, B, and D, you are conversant with those options, and they don't rhyme with the question in the question paper. So you choose your C. Remember, multiple choice questions do not ask you why is this answer. You can choose correctly and nobody will fail you. Just tell the person the answer is C. Nobody will tell you, give reason why the answer is C. This is the cheat that will give you an extraordinary quality so that you can score higher. It's not about studying and studying and studying. So how many cheats have I given you now? Multiplication, division, factor, how to do your calculations without calculator. Even if it is in point, you just try the options with that final fraction you had or you have. Then another thing is testing the options with the question given in terms of balancing chemical equation. Then the third cheat is use elimination method. Don't fear, have the courage. When you meet questions you have not seen in your life before, check the option. Don't just keep it. Calm your nerve. You might be lucky that 3 out of the 4 options are what you know very well, and that is not what the question is saying. You go for the other option that you never met. That should be the answer. I bet you it works as far as multiple choice questions are concerned. Then another cheat is, the fourth one I will give you is what we call, learn what we call science language. There's what we call science language. There's a way science works. Okay, science language is another secret. There are ways you can meet a term for the first time and you know what it is talking about. So I call it science language. For us Nigerians, we may be unfortunate that our local languages do not contribute in making of science. In science world, I think Greek, French, English contributed a lot in science. So if you know the terms and the languages of science, you may answer a question you have not met in your life and you get it correct. Because we are talking about extraordinary students. We are talking about people that will score higher than those that just study. I know you study hard, but this will now give you an upper hand over who is busy studying but not knowing these cheats. Take for example, this will help you more in biology where you have grammar. Let's assume, even in chemistry it does that. If you see the word morphos, morphos is actually shape. That's what it means. Then when you come to chemistry, when they tell you amorphous, it means shapeless. In Greek, if A is placed behind, how do we, okay. In Greek, let me bring my notes back. Okay. We are talking about now understanding the roots that makes up some terms in science. So let's take a look at this. In Greek, if I have a word that this word is, for example, ko, and the ko means, I'm just using an example, please. Let's say that ko means to go in Greek. If you now see another word, ako, it means to come, opposite. So simple. If you hear morphos, is actually shape. Then if you put A behind morphos, amorphous, it means shapeless, because the opposite of shape is shapeless. So if they talk about amorphous carbon in chemistry, it means non-crystalline. Non-crystalline, that's amorphous carbon. You don't need to go and memorize it. Amorphous. So anytime you meet morphos, shape, amorphous, shapeless, it is also applicable. Bio means life. When you put A behind bio, it becomes abio. That's non-living. And when we come to biology, we have what we call biotic and abiotic factors. So you knowing the science language can help you answer strange questions. Don't fear at all. Then if you come to biology, if you have fighter, fighter is talking about plant. Anything fighter is talking about plant. So if the question says plants that do this are called, and you happen to see only one option having the fighter there, you answer it, because since the question has referred to plant, any option having fighter should be the answer. So this one will help you so much in biology and other medical courses. You know that biology is vast and wide. You can't memorize everything. So the only way is to understand these basic languages, such that when you meet them for the first time, you can easily say what they mean. Now watch this. In particular, in biology, gyne is talking about woman. Then to study, gyne is woman. Then to study means logos. To study. So if you now have gynecology joining these two words, it means study of woman reproductive system. So even if you have not come across this gynecology in your life before, but you know that the word gyne means female. Just like when you come to gyneosum, you may meet this question in the exam. They tell you gyneosum is what? Don't fear if you have not had this term before. Remember that Majesty have told you that gyne means female. Then if you look at the option, you'll be lucky that one option will have female. You don't even know female whatever it is, but female, you answer those ones. But if you have male in the option, never you try that one, because it's not the answer, as we are convinced already that gyne is female. Therefore, gyneosum, what do you think it is? Gyneosum is the female part of the flower. Just like gynecology is the study of female reproductive system. In botany, gyneosum means the female part of what? Flower. So this is the term that will help you so much. That's science language, understanding the terminologies we use in science. If you come to science, you hear anything lysis, whether in biology, chemistry, or physics, Lysis, it is standing for breaking down. Breaking down. Then, or it stands for destruction or decomposition. So anytime you hear the term, maybe in the question it is connected to lysis, and you have never had that lysis in your life, you look at the option that is having breaking down, destruction, or decomposition. Decomposition. Take for example, I'm sure you might have not heard about pyrolysis. Pyrolysis. So if you hear this term if you see it in your question paper, don't fear, you can't fail. You have seen that lysis is there. So you look at the option that have decomposition, destruction, breaking down. You will always be lucky that one will have it. And when you have that one, you answer it. And you have not come across pyrolysis in your life. So what do you think pyrolysis is? Just breaking down of a compound by subjecting it to a high temperature. When you heat it at a very high temperature, if it decomposes or breaks down, you call it pyrolysis. Then when you come to biology, you have what we call hemolysis. Simple. Hem is another language connected to blood in biology. Because the hem is all about iron 2. And iron, when you come to chemistry, there is an iron ore called hematite, and that's why the blood have the term hem. So this particular term here is for blood. This is connected to blood. Then actually, this lysis I told you now is connected to breaking down. Is connected to any of these. So hemolysis is actually the destruction of red blood cells. So when you look at the option, even if you have forgotten what hemolysis is, when you discuss the term, you will answer it without wasting time. So I think this last sheet is most important, where you can answer any question by yourself without meeting it. Remember, there is no way you can read everything. And this post UTME, they try to pull your leg. They try to ask you a question that you never met in your life. So when you see such question, don't panic, calm down. Use these 3 or 4 steps I'm giving to you now. One of them must surely work out. This science language, I'll have it as a kind of separate program in my channel where I will be teaching you the languages of science and what they all mean. Let me now shock you now. Do you know that the term myo means muzzle? Myo means muzzle. Then anything connected to heart is called card. Card is for the heart. So if I mix these two and say the word myocardium, hence you can pronounce myocardium well. You know what it means now. It means muscles of the heart. Exactly. So myocardium means muscles of the heart. Then disease or sickness is, study of disease is called pathology. Pathology. So if you talk about disease or sickness, we call it pathology. Then, having known that this is talking about disease, actually, path is disease. Logy is to study about diseases. So let's assume you met this word for the first time. Cardiomyopathy in the examination hall is a one word, cardiomyopathy or myocardiopathy. My dear, you can't fail it. It just means heart muscle diseases. So you can't memorize everything in science. Rather, you have to get the basics of how they were all formed. I'm expecting you bring back 360 or 340 when you use this cheat. This cheat will work well for those that are studying, those that are studying well. But I'm giving you an upper hand over someone that has studied 3 hours and you have studied 2 hours and you have this cheat. My dear, you are going to overcome the person because you are now doing the magic. This is what I call exam rush. I'm training you now to get it even without knowing why and how. What matters is that you got it. That's the advantage of multi-choice questions. Then, when you read question, another cheat is this. If you read question for the first time, and it happened that you don't know anything about this question, you have tried the much you can. Don't allow yourself to be frustrated by one question. Leave that question, go to the next. You might be so lucky that there is a way our brain works. Sometimes our brain may even be unable to spell ordinary is. If you force it at that moment, it will create more confusion. This idea is what I call comport yourself. Don't allow anything to frustrate you. That's another cheat. That should be the 5th one. Don't allow anything to frustrate you. Comport yourself. If you see a question for the first time, you try and you discover that the answer is not forthcoming. My dear, relax. Go to the next question. You might be so lucky that before you could solve the next 4 questions, you see an idea on how to answer the one that is trying to frustrate you. You just go back. Remember, so what I mean here is that question number 1 doesn't mean you must answer it before you answer number 2. Just answer the ones you know first to build your confidence. So that's another cheat. Comport yourself. Don't get confused for any reason, because when you are stressed up, this is how students fail. You may study very well. First question, you don't know it. Second question, you don't know it. Third one, you say, I'm going to fail. Don't say that. You can never fail. Keep on going. Even if it happens that you don't know until the last question, answer that last one. Then build your confidence. Go back as far as you have studied. Our brain works somehow like an engine that have hard starting. Sometimes your brain may have hard starting. What we just need is one thing to push it. And what you need to push it now is the one that you get correct and your confidence. When you build your confidence and answer that one correct, all you have studied will come back to you. So, reduce your anxiety and anxiousness. Don't fear to fail. Rather, comport yourself. Attend to every question with your right mind, not to fear at all. Because if you see any question and already say, Jesus, I've not read this, oh my God, that's automatically destabilizing you. So tell yourself, I can do this, and face the next question. So this particular terminology, that's the language of science, is very nice. It will help you a lot to answer questions that you never know. Another one for biology is that when you hear hyper, it means low. Sorry, hyper means high. Hypo means low. Then iso means uniform, similar. So these are the common terms you might meet. Hyper means high. Then hypo means low. Iso usually means uniform or at equilibrium. Uniform or at equilibrium. So when you come across these terms I've just written now, you find out that sometimes you now have what we call hypotension. You don't need to fear it. It means low blood pressure. Hypertension, high blood pressure. So if you come to this also, you have hypertonic solution, hypotonic solution. It means solution with higher concentration for hypertonic. Then here means solution with lower concentration. Then iso means you can't say uniform or at equilibrium or equal when you are comparing one thing. You must have two things before you use iso. Like they say isotonic, isobaric. Those terms iso is talking about actually uniform. So these are the things you need to conquer this post UTME examination, and I bet you this cheat will be coming subsequently for you till you finish your exams, and Her Majesty's World is here for you. Thank you. Remember to subscribe and share and ask your questions. Help me expand the easy world of science. God bless you for being there.
You gotta love it. I just wanna chill and catch stunts in my 745.